Hello, Jets fans. It's Jets Chaos Tuesday Talk. And why not? It seems to be the only show in town. And sometimes on Tuesdays, we want to talk about the Jets. So I will be back with that right after this. I would regret it if people look back at the first episode and you weren't on it.
Yeah, well, I like that. It's called forward thinking.
We have one of the worst beats in the world. We do. Our beat is horrible.
Connor could shove that article up his ass.
And then I went to that game, and I was like, this is the greatest team I've ever seen in my life. I'm a Jet fan. This is going to be the greatest run ever. Yeah.
No, because if they take Aquanu, I'm not complaining.
Joe Douglas is the king of keeping shit close to the vest.
A 2, a 4, and a 6 for Darnold?
Did the Jets really ruin Sam Darnold, or did Sam Darnold just suck all along and we were just trying to talk ourselves into it?
And Hamilton is a player who can potentially make a very big impact.
And suddenly here we are today, you can't get rid of him.
Right, it's like a plague.
Joe Douglas was hired because he's not those general managers.
Okay, Luscious.
Somebody is going to fall just like Elijah Moore did, just like Michael Carter did.
You know, what would, if you had one sentence to say to Joe Douglas, what would you say? So you would say, you had me at hello, and then give him a big old wet one right on the smack.
Really not ready for all this. Shut that off. Let's see. Can you see me better now? Let's get some light on in here. All right. Get some more light. A couple of changes to the studio. Check this out. Yeah, I know you like it. Let's see who's here. What's up, Dakota? Jets, the most enthusiastic Jet fan alive. Bryant Sill, howdy. Anthony G, what's up? Skills baby in the house. Brian Jet. So is the show here and not on Green Bean. So Green Bean is not going on tonight. That's why I'm here. Green Bean's not going on tonight. So Thursday, think of it. Green Bean and Frankie. Best show on YouTube. Make sure you're there on Thursday. Tonight, you just get me. Just me. Little old me. I know that stinks. I'm sorry. But we do have Lou Stools in the house. Lou Stools might join us tomorrow as a guest. I've never met him. I don't know what he looks like, who he is. But we might have him just jump in and join us. He reached out on Twitter. He's been going crazy that he belongs on the show. He did have somebody verified that he's has good internet and is someone who's very capable and competent in talking about two football teams, the Jets and the Carolina Panthers. I don't know if he studied the Panthers a lot when Sam Darnold went there, or maybe he was the Panthers guy who caught on to one of these Jets channels. I don't know. But I'm excited that Lou Stools is going to be a guest. He may even, he said something about performing. He said that he might sing a song or something with some help. I don't know. It's going to be a little crazy. It's Wacky Wednesday. So I said, what the hell? You know, we got to have our fun. We got to have our entertainment. So we'll see how that goes. And if he can even make it tomorrow. But, well, it looks like he might be able to. He's saying he can bring the chaos. You can bring some chaos. All right. I like it. You've got history, huh? All right. Cool. Yeah. What is this? Can't see the Giants flag anymore. Good job. Looking nice. Hey, the Giants flag is a Jets and Giants flag. It's house divided, so it has both logos. That's the whole idea of it. But I guess, yeah, I got to find a way to hang it so you don't see the Giants part of it, or you could see the whole thing so the whole message comes through. But I decided this is the best look because it's just all Jets. I might get a triangular banner to go along the top. You see up there? That board? I might get a banner. It's like Go Jets something. Or kick rocks, I don't know. But that's the plan. But anyway, What's this? Hello, chat. Just finished my interview with Long Beach Joe. How did that go? Hope it went well. Long Beach Joe. Ho, ho, ho. So, New York Sports Wicker Media is my co-host on the Wacky Wednesday show. I think that he's going to be very, very curious about our new guest, Lou Stools, because we don't know much about him. That's the great thing about Adam is he can handle surprises. He can adjust. He can improvise. He can do it with the best of them. So, Mr. Jeremy, okay. I'll let you know if that works on my schedule. Yeah, let me know. Use instant message or whatever. Get a hold of me. Make sure you get a hold of me, and hopefully it'll work out. We can have some good conversation. Okay. It's always chaotic. I need some more fiber. So apparently Lou still has a good sense of humor. That's good. It went great. That's awesome. Hopefully you got us some subs. That's all I care about. Nah. Who's Long Beach Joe? Come on, Long Beach Joe. He's been on my show, and he's been on YouTube for years. Air granola bar is sticky. Is this a pre-pacifier? There was nothing else on today. And I said, somebody should go on live so you guys can hang out and talk in the chat. I hope Lou Stools doesn't make an ass of himself. You know what? I didn't even get that name. Lou Stools. Oh. That's going to be a fun show tomorrow. What's everybody? Sean McAteer. He always wanted to be a musketeer, but he's not from France, so he's a McAteer. The McAteers are the men who defend Temecula. Nobody goes near those vineyards, and nobody goes near those casinos without dealing with a McAteer. I'm getting old and senile, Adam. You're not allowed to get old, John Nolte. We just age like a fine wine. Best behavior, buddy. Best behavior. All right. Good. It's all good. All right. You like that, huh? You like that? No one's ever did that to your name, I bet. No one's ever butchered your name like that. All right. So look, I put out a video about this. Le'Veon Bell is fighting Adrian Peterson in the boxing match. And I know that it's going to happen. Every New York article or every Jet take on it is going to say former Jet Le'Veon Bell. I oppose that. I am very against that. I think he should be only known as former Pittsburgh Steeler, an NFL football player, Le'Veon Bell. I don't want him connected to the Jets. I don't want the Jets connected to this ridiculous fight between two NFL football players. It's going to look ridiculous. The other thing is, who do we root for? Bell has been training. Oh, he's been training boxing since he was with us? Really? Why? Was that going to be his backup plan? Why did I just see myself adjusting my computer? I didn't do that. Now I did it. That was like I just saw the future in my screen. Didn't get that snow box for a bit. Yeah, got snow box for a bit. That was embarrassing enough. You know, I don't mind the wrestling thing. We all know it's a show. But when they go in there thinking they're going to win a boxing match and embarrass themselves, that's just humiliating. Will AP get to use a switch in the fight? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Yeah, I'm saying, man, both of them aren't the most popular people in the world. So, you know, some people might be just rooting for a double knockout. I don't know. Peterson should be good from beating him. Yeah, that's exactly what I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming. That's why I don't think a lot of people will root for him either. He said he was trying just to get in shape. Haha. He was also making rap songs at the time. Oh, I love those guys who are just doing everything else but focused on football. Isn't that great? That's exactly what we don't have anymore on this team, I hope. And that's not what we're looking for in a player. You can handle your business after your career. But when you're an NFL football player, be an NFL football player. The rap, the this, the that, as soon as that nonsense starts, their careers go like this. Look it up. As soon as that nonsense starts, I'm not saying you can't have hobbies and do other things, but when these guys get wrapped up in themselves and their image and their brand and their, I have to be a rapper now and I have to do this and I have to do that. You know what? How about Jerry Rice didn't have time for that, to be a rapper or anything like this. You know why? Because he was working really hard to be the best football player he could be. You know what I mean? And, Derek Jeter, guy named Derek Jeter, played for the Yankees. He didn't have time for all that crap because he was, even in the off seasons, he was working out and make himself a better baseball player. That's the kind of people we want. People are focused on that. How's it hanging? It's hanging all right. I'm sitting down, so it's got a lot of support. That's what she said. They should say former KC player Bell. That would be funny. My wife always laughs when they say former Yankee Darryl Strawberry. She always thinks that's humorous. Or former Met Willie Randolph. Come on. I can already see the memes coming if Peterson wins. Yep, you're right. That's exactly what's going to happen. Eminon is in the house, and I am eating a snack. I'm eating a granola bar, not so unhealthy. Of course, I just ate the rest of a bag of white chocolate, small mini peanut butter cups. But I'm getting some fiber in. Getting the bag. Yeah, what? You get like 23 million a year for 3 years or something? 24 million? Based in today's market, that's actually cheaper than I thought it'd be. I think that's a hometown discount or something. Or maybe he liked the idea that he was going to get money right away, instead of having to wait till next year. He deserves money. He does. He's a good player. I don't know if he's top 10. And that's not to disrespect him. It's just that we call every good receiver a top 10. Every free agent receiver is a top 10, according to Jets fans. Devontae Adams, probably is. Of course he is. Tyreek Hill. DK Metcalf. Tebow Samuel. Now Terry. Every single player that comes available, every wide receiver. Amari Cooper. Everyone that we wanted as Jets fans in the offseason. It's a top 10. It seems a little, is Jamal Chase a top 10? I mean, let's see how many there are. What about Stephon Diggs? Top 10? A lot of top 10s. That's all I'm saying. It's a lot of guys that are arguably top 10s. Bunch of them. I don't know, man. I would, if we could get him, if we got him as a free agent, that'd be great. I'm not into trading picks or players and paying them the big money. I say if you're going to pay the big money, you wait till free agency and you pay the big. That's what Washington just did, right? They paid him the big money. They didn't have to give away draft picks. They didn't have to give away stuff. So for another team to sign him, they would have had to pay him $24 million a year and give away draft capital. That's really expensive to me. That's a big difference. I say you wait for a guy to hit the free agent market and you sign him. But we're not going to have to do that because we're making our own stars now. Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, we're going to have our own star receivers. Don't you worry about it one bit. If they don't both hit and only one hits, all right. So we're like every team and we only have one star receiver, right? Very few have two. It'd be nice if they both hit. I have a very, very good feeling about Elijah Moore. You in Buffalo got around and got dueling live chats. What do you mean? Buffalo and I don't have dueling. You and Buffalo got to iron out the kinks. Got dueling live chats. Is he on right now? No. Buffalo doesn't go on now, does he? He said he wasn't going on until Thursday. I don't believe you. Let me look. Buffalo. Why would he jump on all of a sudden? Holy cow, he's on? What the hell? Q&A live too? That doesn't make any sense. He said he wasn't going on until Thursday. I don't know. Maybe he changed his mind. Yeah, that's kind of a bummer. I didn't know he was live. I would have teamed up with him tonight. I just wanted to do something. I didn't know he was on. He didn't announce it. He said he was going on Thursday. So that looks like we have dueling live chats. You can go back and forth or not. Yeah, I didn't know he was on, dude. He didn't say he was on. He didn't tell me. Last time I spoke to him, he said he was on Thursday night. He said I'm going to be on Thursday. Something like that. And he said he was going to do Monday shows. He did not say anything about Tuesday. So I don't know what to say. I don't know what to tell you. You like Buffalo, but you'll stay here. Look, you go do both. I don't know. I don't know. I would have planned it with him if I would have known. But I didn't check with him. He didn't check with me. So here we are. New Jets panel, Buffalo and Chaos with Blue Stool. Well, me and Buffalo are going to have a panel together with some others, with Watu and Tigo. I don't know about the details of who, to be honest. I know that Tigo, Buffalo, and I, and Adam, for sure, are going to be on this panel, and we're going to have we're going to do post-game Jets shows. It's going to be absolutely awesome. I'm very excited about it. So get ready for that. It's going to start game 2 of the season. And the reason it won't be game 1 is because both Buffalo and I will be, that's right, we will be at MetLife Stadium for the opener, sitting with the Jet Lounge. It is official. I am flying to Newark Airport on December, I don't know, I land on the 9th on Friday morning because I'm coming in on the red eye. And I will be there, and I'm going to meet my friend Garrett Ham. We're going to ham it up. Okay, you probably heard that a million times. But anyway, we're going to hang out at the hangar. Oh, he's saying it right here. We're going to hang out at the hangar event. Also, I'll see you at the tailgate before that. So there'll be, I believe it'll be, I don't want to say anything because I don't know if they've announced it. So I will not say anything, but it's going to be, there's going to be a tailgate for anybody going to the opener. I don't know any of the details, but it'll include a lot of the people from the Jets Lounge and a lot of people from some other group. And I believe it's kind of like an organized thing. You pay some money. There's going to be tons of food, tons of fun stuff, which means you don't have to bring ovens and you don't have to carry your own stuff. You just show up. And there'll be all kinds of food, and more important than anything, is great people like Garrett Ham and all the YouTube guys. Buffalo will be there, and Sack Exchange will be there, greatest guy in the world. And let's see, Green Bean will be there, Matt O'Leary, Ryan, Richie, all this whole load of people are just going to be at the game, either sitting in the hangar or before the game, you could see them in the parking lot. All those details are going to go out there. It's going to be a great time. I can't wait. I can't believe I'm flying across the country to go, but it was just too good. It was just too good. Yep, man. I am looking forward to seeing you as well, my friend. It's going to be great. I'll see you in September. Fun, fun, fun. And this is not true. It's not going to happen, but I don't even know if he drives. Coming from Long Island would be a really long drive for him. I don't think he's driving from Long Island to Newark Airport, especially not for me after I betrayed him. Jets fan 100. I will find you at the Jets game and confront you for betraying me. Guess who it is? It's J. Cole. Well, J. Cole, I know you're a big guy and everything, but I'm not going to be at that I'm gonna have a lot of people around me that day. You know, two of them are 164 and the other 6'3", and one of them is a guy who brawled in Cleveland. He was outnumbered by at a ratio of like 10 guys to 1, and they held their own. So I don't know. I think I'll be okay. I think I'll be okay, big guy. Jeremy fan 100, is that you, Jacob? It is. It is. And if he threatens me again, maybe I'll be a real bastard about it and have him arrested. You're not allowed to threaten people online, by the way. I know the laws because I'm an educator. You can't go online and threaten someone. So, week 1 versus the Ravens. It's going to be a good one. Betrayal. I know, betrayal. One day I'm going to have it out. I'm going to debate back. I don't really bother fighting back, but it's just like so ridiculous. You didn't sacrifice all your hard work and channel for me. You know what I mean? You actually wanted to commit to a channel for people. So that's betrayal. Jeremy, I'm definitely in for week 1. Oh, cool, Mark. You going? Awesome. That's awesome. So we're going to hang out with Green Bean, hang out with Matt O'Leary and Ryan and Richie and Steve, the Sack Exchange, Garrett Ham. There's going to be tons of other people from the Jet Lounge. Sad Jets fan, I'm sure he'll be there, right? I wonder if Paul Riley's going. Garrett will know. But there's going to be a lot of guys, a lot of people. And I think that's our friends. What's his name? I'm forgetting. There's other people too that are going to be there. It's going to be great. All Savage, I'm going to take him out. I'm telling you, I wouldn't threaten people. I wouldn't threaten people if I was you. We all know who it is. We all got witnesses here. I'm 5'8" and overweight. I got your back. That's Garrett. Nobody cares, man. Now he's threatening fighting. Now I understand why Rusty got so mad. I'm so surprised that we didn't just throw him out. Paul is going, but sitting in his season ticket seats, not in the lounge. Do you think he'll hang out with us at will he hang out with the Jets lounge guys at the tailgate? Maybe we'll meet him there. Right? Yeah. We got to start winning. That would be a great game to win. What about Buff? Yeah, I know. He's on live also. It was a mistake. We didn't communicate. So, last time that'll happen. Next time I'll check with him. He probably thought the same thing that I thought. He thought, it's nothing scheduled for tonight. Let me jump in. Oh, wait, where he's here. Sending a stampede my way. Hey, I'm sorry about that, buddy. I could have sent them your way. You didn't have to do that. They're all telling me Buffalo's on. I'm like, we just didn't know. Man. I scheduled it probably around the same time you did. You're like, nothing's on. Let's just go live. I usually ask, but I didn't think you were going to be on because you told me Thursday. So I that's the only reason I didn't check. But I usually do go on Twitter and I DM a lot of these guys and make sure they're not going on before I jump on. But thanks for sending the stampede. I appreciate that. Next time it's on me when we forget. I'll get off and I'll send everybody your way. What happened to me? I don't know what happened to me, man. I was corrupted by the fame of being able to get 30 people into a stream to talk to me. It's like, you can't believe how famous I am now. I can't leave the house. People are just all over me. It's crazy. I'm sure if we hit Paul up, we can meet him. Yeah, it'd be cool if we can just jump and meet up with him. I would love to just hang out at the tailgate with him because he seems like an interesting guy, like just because of his job. He's intense. He's probably got some great stories. But hopefully he could stop by. I would imagine, like, even if, no matter what, when he parks, he would find out where we were. It's a lot of people that you get to meet in person that you might never have met before. So, sounds like the Jets fam party week 1. Maybe I can make the trek over. That would be cool, John Post. You should go. You should go, man. You should come. There's going to be a ton of us. It's going to be great. We're going to have a good time. Why are you saying snacks like you weren't here the whole time, dude? You've been here the whole time. So 8 to 10 wins. He just wants to go right back to talking Jets. You were predicting 13 wins, I thought. Thank you, Harlan. I appreciate you coming over. Usually we collaborate and work together. I appreciate that Buff did that. Next time, if we ever accidentally go on again, I'm sending everybody his way. So, hey, man, if you like the show, if you like the content, go ahead and sub. I know I'm not talking much about the Jets right now. We're just kind of hanging out. But we could start talking Jets. You know, we keep saying 8 to 10 wins, 8 to 10 wins. But the real thing is, rather than talk about 8 to 10 wins, is to remember and think about, oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I really do. I really appreciate that. What we really need to talk about is how. How are we going to make this happen? How are we going to make sure we win 10 games? Now, I think that the talent is there if everything clicks. Like, I think it's definitely, well, I mean, it's possible for any team. It's been done before. But for us, I think the key thing is, and I know I sound like a freaking broken mirror or whatever they say, whatever the expression is. Health is so much, because I really think that we are really strong when you know, like on paper, but a lot of that is based on being healthy. So let's hope that we could stay healthy and keep all those big names that we love in there, because, you know, the first time there's a real injury, whoever it is, it's going to be crushing. Because we love all of our guys that are starting. If we go through the starting lineup, right, there's not one of them that you're not going to be upset, or we're not going to be upset if they get injured. Obviously, quarterback. Which of our starting wide receivers go down where you're not upset? Which of the tight ends go down, which you're not upset? Which of the offensive linemen go down, and you're not upset? Which of the running backs, the two top running backs, go down where you're not upset? You know, whoever we start on the front four of the defensive line, whether it's you know, Jacob or Martin, or whether it's JJ, Carl Lawson, JFM, Quinnen Williams, Sheldon Rankins. Do we want any of them to get hurt? Sauce Gardner, Reed, Michael Carter II, Whitehead, LaMarcus Joyner, Bryce Hall. I mean, none of these sound good to me. None of them. So it's, you know, the injuries are so painful. So we talk about, you know, we could talk all day about 10 and 7, but we got to talk about how we're going to stay healthy. Thanks for coming over, Ryder and Talon's PA. You've been here before. I appreciate you coming here now, though. Thank you. Hey, Buff, do you want to get back on later? I'll talk until what, like another half hour, and then we'll send them back to you. It was impromptu. Next time we'll do a panel together. Yeah, do you want to come in now? That's the question, Buffalo. Do you want to come in right now? We don't have to like wait to do a panel together. We can, if you're in the mood to go, we can go right now. Let me do this. And by the way, somebody's gonna complain. Oh, you let him into your show. Okay, you know, we all know who that is. Let's see. Let me go to this. We send it to this email, this link. I'm going to call it Buff so I can find it. Okay, sorry for the delay, guys. Sorry for the delay. I don't mean to bore you, but I know you all want Buffalo in here, right? I don't know if he's going to come. He didn't answer, but if he was on anyway, maybe that means he's ready to go. Okay, here we go. It's all worth it. All this delay and dancing around is worth it if we get Buff in here, isn't it? Uh-oh. Why is it taking so long? I hate that. I hate delays. Did it send? Yeah, it sounds. It's just that Gmail is slow as crap. Anyway, as we wait for that to happen, that's actually a good idea for a question. Before Buffalo steals my question, I want you all to tell me. Hey, what's up, Michael Lisa? Good to see you, buddy. What's up? What's good? Salty Nalty's in the house. BJ said we'd get 20 each for joining your show. Oh my God, that would be funny. To start paying people. Hey, I was at the point, and I think Buffalo is one of the people who talked me out of it. I was going to bring a bunch of football cards, packs of it, to my school, go to the high school and start giving out cards to join my site. And then he said, but what? He talked sense into me and said, what's the point of it? Like, they're not going to go to your shows. Like, what's the point of having them as subscribers? And I realized, I said, yeah, he's right. Why isn't this freaking email coming through? Come on. I hate it when email is slow. I emailed myself the link that I would have to like Twitter to Buffalo, and it's like taking forever. And I don't know why it's just not coming into my box. You know what? Maybe I can go into my. Oh, it's kind of crazy that it's not just coming in. That annoys me. It annoys me. Can I get to my sent folder from here? Oh. Doesn't make any sense. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Copy link. Go into Twitter. Find my friend Buffalo in Twitter. So anyway, that's why I've been asking who's going to that's why I've been asking who's going to the game, because I've known for a while that I'm probably definitely going. But I wanted to I was going to try to surprise Green Bean, but then I realized it wasn't going to work to surprise him because I wanted to work out plans to go with him, share the cost of the parking and all that stuff. So I had to tell him. So Wicker is here. You guys IM each other? Yeah, we IM we DM each other on Twitter. I got to get his number because we're gonna do a show together. So we've got to make it easier to get in touch with each other. So I am gonna have to get his number, start instant messaging him. The problem is I can't get the link into my instant message. So that's a big problem. But anyway, no more delays. Here's the real talent. Here's the guy you really want. Buffalo Jets fan. What's going on, brother?
What's going on? Yeah, I guess we had the same idea. I was like, there's an opening on a Tuesday night.
I know.
Gotta fill the void. So hey, now we have the backup panel.
It was really funny. I said no Jets Talk. Like my original name was Buffalo Jets Talk 24/7 panel on hiatus. Join the chaos. And then Green Bean, when I told him I'm going to go on, I'll say, okay, I'll just go on if you're not. He sends me a message. He goes, okay, but don't use Jets panel 24/7 in the name. So I quickly went into StreamYard and edited and changed the name, and I wrote back to him, I would never do that.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
So what were you talking about? What was going on over there?
A lot of optimism in the comments. Obviously, a couple of guys over here, Harlan and Dakota, who are big optimists. And we talked a lot about Coach Saleh and how I'm a big believer in Coach. And I said, I don't know. There's a lot of unknowns about Coach in his ability as an in-game coach, but I think he showed us a lot of the intangibles and kind of the baseline things of leadership that you look for last year. But what were your takeaways after Coach Saleh's first season with the Jets?
That he's there's different kinds of leaders. Some people lead by title. Like, I'm the head coach. That's why you're going to do it. They go by fear and they use the power of the title. Some people lead with charisma and just they're the kind of person you follow. And then some people lead with intelligence and knowing the topic, And I forgot the other category, but basically the best kind of leader is an integration of all four. Sometimes you have to use your title. Sometimes you have to use the fact that you're the coach. Sometimes you have to use charisma. and the ability to suck people into, and you have to know what you're doing and have intelligence. So the best leaders have all the qualities and don't just have one of the qualities of leadership. What I like about Saleh is I think he's really smart. I think he's very charismatic. I think that the only thing I questioned was that we didn't see yet was like standing up as the coach. Because when I say coach and using your title, I mean also when during the game. But I saw that improve a little at the end of the season. But there were things going on. This team was getting pushed around a little. There was some unfair things happening. And I don't think he was stepping up enough to put a stop to it. The cheap shots against Zach. But to answer the question in a simpler way, I like Saleh a lot. I think he has all the potential to be a great coach. But I'll also say it's impossible to know for sure. It's as big it's a question mark, just like that we could put on Zach. Like, it just takes time, and we don't know. We have to see if he progresses and gets better and learns from his mistakes, and is sharper. I don't care about the record so much from last year, because I think that last year wasn't about the record. Not that they lost on purpose, but I think last year was about implementing a system.
It absolutely was. And if we, Jeremy and I both being teachers, if you ask me to grade his first season, it kind of have to be an incomplete. It's like asking to grade a student who, missed half the year and their house caught on fire and their pet passed away. And like, like there's just too many negative factors to really get a handle on it. But some of the baseline stuff that we saw as a leader, I really like. And people, the motivation is a big part of it, but that's fleeting. Like, people often talk about Mike Tomlin, who had one of the most awesome coaching interviews I've seen on the Pivot podcast. I'd recommend everyone give that a listen. It's like an hour and a half long, and he spoke as candidly as I've ever heard an active NFL coach speak. It was great stuff. And what people always say is I'd run through a wall for Mike Tomlin. That is not sustainable just on hoorah alone for multiple decades, like Mike Tomlin has made it. And yeah, Mike Tomlin's an intense guy. He can fire up a room. You get that new coach energy that lasts a couple of years. Rex Ryan had that, right? Coach Saleh has that. But the reason why players want to come play for Mike Tomlin is because they believe that they're going to be the best version of themselves under his system, under his tutelage, and they believe that they're going to be winning football games, right? That's why you want to play for Mike Tomlin. Okay, you can have, you could be the most, like Pete Carroll, his clapping hands and chewing the gum on the sidelines. If his team's 4-12 this year with Drew Lock, it's not going to look so great. Yeah. So I think it's important to put that caveat in there as yeah, that's important. But as Coach said, we're playing a child's game at a king's ransom. These are grown professional men. And I think sometimes the hoorah, the I'm going to run through a wall for this coach stuff, it's important, but sometimes I think it undermines other things that are more important. What are some things that if you could point to that you want to see in game next year from Coach, whether it be, do you want to see us start better? Do you want to see us, come out of the half better situationally, timeouts, penalties? What's one area where you're looking at that you want to see is immediately better from last year to this year in terms of the discipline or the organization or the preparation of our team?
Well, I want to see us play a complete game. I think most of the games would be the first half, coming out of the gate, starting the game ready to go, instead of figuring it out sometime in the end of the second quarter or second half. And then there were games where we played well in the first half, fell apart in the second half. So we have to be able to play a complete game, 60 minutes. We did it a couple of times, a few times. But that has to be more consistent. We have to be more consistent about showing up and playing a full game. You're allowed to have a bad half throughout the season. You're allowed to have bad games and bad halves of football where you lose momentum, but not the way it happened to us last year. There were too many games where we came out not ready to play. Even the first game of the season, The way, that became very representative of a lot of what you saw with the Jets. And then there were games where we didn't come out at all. Also, we weren't consistent with the offense and the defense in too many of the games, where only one half of the team showed up. So that it was either the defense keeping us in the game, or it was the offense trying to keep us in the game, doing well, but then the defense just completely let us down and collapsed. Right. So we just need both. We need to play 60 minutes, and we need to play as a team at a high level, both sides of the ball at the same time.
Yeah, that's such a good point. And don't you feel like it's kind of a yin and yang, right? Like the defense was bad, so the offense couldn't get onto the field. And then the offense would go 3 and out, so now the defense is tired, right? It's like all of our units were like antagonistic with each other. And hopefully now, and like the offense would have bad field position because the defense was bad, right?
Yep.
So hopefully this year, when rising tides raise all ships, right, is the metaphor. So hopefully we're going to see some of that. And I echo what you said. Absolutely. We got to start better. We have to start better. I mean, how many times, guys, in the chat, did you turn on a Jets game, you're looking forward to it all week, and in the first quarter, you're like, did they practice? Like, it wasn't visibly obvious to me that the offense practiced last year, the first 6 weeks of the season. It was awful. I'm watching multiple unblocked rushers in the backfield as soon as the ball is snapped. Like, This isn't JV football. That's crazy. Now, what I'll say is the offense got better and better as the year went on. There were stretches of the season where we looked like a professional football offense. That was exciting. But the defense kind of got worse and worse. That's why I'm higher on Mike LaFleur than I am on Jeff Ulbrich. Although the talent, I don't know. To me, finishing, whatever 22nd overall on offense, you could argue that's an overachievement for that unit based on the talent and the injuries. What do you think?
Well, when you consider the fact that it was the first year after going with a roster that had so little going for it before free agency and the draft, we had nothing coming out of, the 20 season, so little. And then what we had didn't even pan out. Like Mims had, got sick and had an awful, disastrous year. Maybe, not going to recover as, at all, and end up not even being a contributor. Becton gets hurt the first game, is not a contributor. Those were the shining spots of the offense, going in out of the 2020 season. So it was, and then to come in with this system, which is known to have a rough first year. It's a system that you're known to struggle, and it takes time. And that's exactly why if you want to implement the system, you have to go through that year. Everybody was saying, why don't we adjust it to our players? Well, if you adjust the system to the players, then the system never gets truly implemented. You implement the system, and then you got to start hammering the players into the system, knowing that it's going to be painful. So I would agree. I think that, I don't know if the overachievement, I don't look at it as an overall thing. I would think that the success of last year was that it's not like we went the whole year struggling in that system. We saw the growth. We saw the players start to fill in the system and learn the system. And we started to see that offensive system look like the way the 49ers make it look sometimes, or the way Atlanta made it look sometimes, or Denver or Washington. Like, we started to get that to start happening. The Shanahan offense started to look like that kind of offense at moments, at times. And it was happening when we were just completely depleted with injuries.
Yeah, when Zach was almost at his best, when his wide receivers were decimated.
Yeah.
What do you attribute that to? Was it just because those games were later in the season and he was further along in the offense?
Yeah, I think we would have seen much better numbers out of him, or performance even. And it would have been more like we saw, because we were watching every play. So we saw the growth. I think the league would have an idea that Zach Wilson was much better when he came back than he was if he would have had the weapons around him to really show it. So I think that, his improvement because we had all those injuries, because we had those lack of weapons, playing much better for him meant not turning the ball over, finding ways to keep drives alive, finding ways to stay in the game.
Yeah, and I think there's also something to be said for they're obviously having a lack of talent at wide receiver is not a good thing. Breaking news. But I think what it forced Zach to do last year when he didn't really have a go-to receiver, it kind of became Barrios a little bit, but he didn't really have like a number one, anything close to an NFL caliber number one wide receiver when Corey Davis and Elijah Moore went down. And that's when he was playing his best ball. But we all recall the first third of the season where Zach Wilson was just locked onto Corey Davis, and that's where it was going. And that really messed up his entire progression because if you stay on your one receiver, an extra hitch, now your second receiver, that window's gone. Your third progression, that window's gone. You're a half second late across the board. So he pretty much by doing that, and he was a rookie, it's like not anything against him. I think ideally, with hindsight, he could have held a clipboard until the bye week, and that probably would have been maybe better, but whatever. But now we're taking a 4 progression play and turning it into like one read, and now I got to run or check it down, right? How many times do we see Zach Wilson looking towards Corey, and then bailing and having to throw it away? And then once those receivers got hurt, it forced him to be more egalitarian through his reads. He didn't have a go-to guy. So his go-to guy was the open guy in his progressions, and it kind of forced him to take the training wheels off and play some grown-up quarterback, and we absolutely saw that. I mean, Tampa Bay is a perfect example. He was spreading the ball all over the field. Now, if he can continue that discipline in his reads, but you replace Jeff Smith with Garrett Wilson and Tariq Black with Elijah Moore and Keelan Cole with Corey Davis, I mean, we have a lot to be excited about.
Yeah, I think that one of the things that's going to happen now organically, which is nice, is you're right. Zach went into that year and he was looking at Corey. I mean, even when one was, he had the easy first down against New England wide, right there, a gift. He threw it deeper to Corey Davis and it ended up in an interception because he didn't take what New England was happy to give him. So I think that what's nice about this year is we go in because he started to connect a lot with Elijah before Elijah got hurt and they had some big plays. And because he's very comfortable with Barrios, I think he comes back not only more mature and more into, again, the system. Instead of looking at one receiver, he's going to go through progressions and follow the play. I think also it's happening on the other side of it too, is I think he's starting to see his receivers as equals. I think he's starting to, instead of looking to one receiver, he's trusting them all. I think he trusts Elijah a lot more now because now they have that year. I think Barrios he certainly trusts, and I think he still trusts, obviously, Corey Davis. And I think Garrett Wilson, what's going to be unique about him, if he hits, I think at some point in his career, it might be rookie year, it might take a little longer, but I think what's going to make him a little different than most of the other receivers is that he's going to be the one that creates a significant amount of space. And I think that's going to be really nice for Zach to have a receiver that does that. And everybody was talking about it before, having tight ends, right, that he feels more confident he could check down to. And there was one other thing that he said I really liked. And he said that he feels now that one of the things he was doing as a rookie, not knowing the playbook and not having no experience reading the defenses and what they do against them, is he was starting out always on top of the play. Like, what's the first progression? What's the first one? Look this way, look this way. Now he comes in, he reads the defense, and he's not going to waste time if he knows by the way the defense is set up, oh, I shouldn't look at Corey Davis. I could tell that his route's going to be stuffed right now. I'm going to go right to the second choice. I'm going to go right to the third choice. And he's going to be able to make faster decisions based on his ability to read the defense better.
That's a great point, because really at the highest level of quarterback, you're not reading routes, you're reading coverage. And yeah, that's a really, really great point. And I think, yeah, we got some we know Modine, he's a Jets fan. He just doesn't believe in Zach Wilson. And you know what? Maybe he'll be right, because I said on my stream, the Jets fans, 49ers fans, Jaguars fans, and Bears fans all think they have their young stud QB, and probably two of us are going to be wrong.
Yep.
So we don't know. We'll find out soon enough. We definitely saw some things that are encouraging. It's interesting you mentioned that about Garrett Wilson, about creating space. I agree he's a good route runner, but I actually think that the separation game, Elijah Moore, the distance he puts between himself and the human beings trying to cover him, if you would have plugged him in, like, I'm not trying to bring Zach down, he was a rookie OC, offensive line, all that, all the reasons why. But if you would have plugged him into like a Kansas City Chiefs offense last year as a rookie, my God. I mean, he's going for 1,200 yards just based on how open he was. That the slow start from Elijah Moore last year is a complete myth. He was wide open.
Yeah, there were a lot of I saw a lot of stats that he was the most open receiver on the team.
Yeah, and and Frankie from Flatbush has been breaking into the details. There's this website called like Reception Perception, and apparently they got some good numbers, but it's like $100 for a lifetime membership, and I have not coughed that up yet. But Frankie has, so I go to his YouTube channel and I get all the information for free. And like some of their advanced stats in terms of like separation per route and basically all the analytics that say who's getting open. Elijah Moore was like top 6-8 in the entire NFL last year in all of them.
Wow.
Now, Garrett Wilson, the trait I think that's going to pop off of our screen right away is the yak ability with the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
Because that's, Elijah's it's not necessarily his strength. He's got breakaway speed, but he's not really great at breaking tackles. And I think that Garrett Wilson will bring that slipperiness to this team. Because there's some ungodly yak numbers at Ohio State. And with the most cartoonish of all was that he broke a tackle on 27% of his receptions last year, which was the best of any wide receiver since Jamar Chase.
He also has so much burst, so much explosiveness. It's like we got two guys like that because Breece Hall as well. It's their ability to stop or hitch and then get back to full speed so quickly. So I think we're going to have two very special players. I mean, I think that Garrett Wilson will also create that great space, and we're going to see stats that show that. But I think there are similarities. They're both going to create space. I think Elijah's the guy that's going to be right now more seasoned. He's that crisp route runner. He's that hard worker that's going to play all three positions well. I agree 100%. I love Elijah Moore. He would have been a lot better in a better situation. There's no question about it. And once things started to settle down for him, you saw that. I mean, we saw him go in that midseason run, some of the things that he was able to start doing. I think that we're going to be like very, very dangerous team because we're going to have two wide receivers that are really explosive and fast and good route runners. And what I like about Garrett Wilson is he has really great body balance. So he can go up. You could go up. You could throw the ball behind him while he's moving across the field. He can go up in the air, keep his balance, reach back and pull it in. He's got really strong hands at the point of the catch. I really like that about him. I like hands receivers, guys who catch the ball with their hands with strength and authority. I think that's what allows him to start preparing his body, that balance and that ability and those strong hands for what you're saying, to get those yak, to get those yards, to create those, that ability to feel the field, break some tackles and go full on because he has those strong hands on the ball. So I like it, man. I think that we're going to have a tremendous amount of weapons. It's going to be really, really hard for people. And I think it's nice to have a receiver like Corey Davis as well, to have that nice big target.
Yeah. And that I definitely agree with. The ability to adjust to the ball in the air. Garrett Wilson is like a ballerina. I think that's where the Stephon Diggs comparison comes in, the footwork and the contortion act on the sideline. That's something unique he's bringing to this offense. And to be able to just jump over people at 6 feet tall is crazy. Yeah. And he's kind of underrated, which is weird. It's like the Jets finally spend a premier pick on a wide receiver, the sexiest position. And I feel like we've been talking more about, our corner or running back or Jermaine Johnson even. He's kind of flying under the radar. I think it has to do with his personality. He's just kind of like a buttoned up pro, which I love. And Corey Davis, I think it's going to be a really efficient year for Corey Davis. I think you're going to see him like catch 65+% of the passes thrown his way. I think he'll probably be like second on the team in touchdowns from Elijah Moore. And I might want to keep Corey Davis around. I'm in no rush to cut bait with Corey Davis after this year because he's still 27, 28 years old. He's got a reasonable cap hit. I wouldn't mind tacking 2 more years onto that. Keep that big body around till he's 30 while Elijah and Garrett are still on his rookie deal. Their rookie deal.
Yeah, look, if he has a strong season and is very effective, rather than just take that third year, which is cap friendly, and play out that last year, maybe extend them. As long as we can keep it cap friendly for another 2, and if he's okay with it, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. I think a lot of people are just looking too into some of the struggles he had last year, and I think that some of the struggles that he had with the drops were really just part of the overall struggle of the offense.
It was just a sloppy, out of sync offense.
Yeah, I think when things are running smoother, it's like it's going to have the opposite impact. When things are smooth and we have that offensive line giving Zach some real amount of time, and he's being quicker to make his decisions, and he's not overthinking it because of that, and his natural arm and accuracy come into play. He's going to start, tossing the ball around. He's going to start hitting his targets, and you're going to see guys like Corey Davis really benefit from that, from just the calmness and the experience in this offense. So I'm not going to be surprised. The only thing that holds me back from predicting big numbers for any of these guys is just there's so many mouths to feed on our offense. So
yeah, anytime I try and do the math of like all the yards that all the pass catchers are going to have, it ends up being like over 5,000 yards, and Zach Wilson's not throwing for 5,000 yards. Yeah. So you kind of have to start with like a reasonable number, which I think is probably around 3,800 to 4,000. And then once you give Elijah Moore like 1,000 of those, man, like there's not going to be a ton of yards to go around. So that's definitely a good point. And Anthony G brings up a great point. 14 mil for Corey Davis is a bargain. Yeah. His cap hit next year is 12.25 mil. So I'm looking right now at some other wide receivers who are in that ballpark. Robbie Anderson's making more money than him. I'd rather have Corey. Adam Thielen, in this point in his career, you could make an argument. I mean, Christian Kirk, Kenny Galladay, Russell Gage, DJ Chark, Marquise Valdez-Scantling. These guys, I mean, come on. I'm taking Corey Davis over all these guys. Michael Gallup coming off a torn ACL. Curtis Samuel. It's a bargain for him.
It goes to the genius of Joe Douglas, right? He just finds, it's like Whitehead's going to look like a steal. I have a feeling Reed is going to look like a steal. Like, after next year, then the year after that, when we're competing and really competitive, people are going to say, how'd they get these guys, these prices? He just knows how to find quality players.
And it's amazing when you actually pay market value to a player, right? Instead of getting in a bidding war with yourself. And we all love CJ, but my God, what is his actual market value and what are we paying him? And Coach said it a bunch of times, like there's nobody on this roster who's just here because they were chasing a check. And once next year, once CJ is restructured, hopefully they keep him around and restructure him. There's not going to be a bad contract on the books. When's the last time you could say that?
It's been a long time. It's been a long time. So, Reed, I think, was the only cornerback who played over 200 snaps who did not give up a touchdown. He did not allow a touchdown. And we're pairing him with Sauce Gardner, who hasn't allowed a touchdown in college. So we have 2 cornerbacks who are not accustomed to getting beat. They're not accustomed to allowing anything big, anything like less than just short yards. It's pretty crazy if Gardner translates that to the NFL and we have two corners that don't often get beat for touchdowns. We could see a much different defense this year as far as production and not giving up points.
It's crazy. So we got two rookies with really impressive streaks. Which one do you think breaks first? So Sauce Gardner has never gave up a touchdown. And then Breece Hall, last year in college, every game he scored a touchdown. So which happens first? Breece Hall goes a game without a touchdown, or Sauce Gardner gives up a touchdown?
I have to say that Breece Hall
Yeah.
totes the heavier bag on that.
Yes, that's much more difficult.
Yeah. because he's not always in control of it, right? I mean, what if we just have the kind of game where he has some big runs, but tight end gets the call, Conklin gets the call, or, Elijah gets the call, or maybe Michael Carter comes in at that part of the game, or Tavon Coleman comes in and gets that carry inside the 5-yard line, so we just don't know. It might not be his fault because that LaFleur is not thinking about it. He's not looking at it and saying, well, I got to get this guy a touchdown to keep his college streak alive. Nobody's thinking about it. So he has the tougher, because at least Gardner is in control of his own destiny. Like, he's
Right.
physically there. He has the ability to use his talent. He has the opportunity to protect that streak. Whereas Breece Hall doesn't have that complete, ability to do that.
He's not in control of his own destiny on that. Breece Hall gives up 5 touchdowns before Sauce. It's not crazy.
Oh,
Not
somebody's
crazy.
saying the opposite of what Garrett's saying?
Yeah,
maybe Garrett's looking at it in a very positive way. He's saying, hey, Breece Hall's going to have 5 touchdowns at least before Sauce ever gives up a touchdown.
Love that.
So it's funny because it's going to be interesting to see Sauce Gardner when he has to play, like when they play the Bills, and and you have a Stephon Diggs going up against him. Are the Bills going to specifically look to pick on him? I mean, it's a little later in the season, so they might have more info on him and say, no, we choose not to. I think that it's going to start with the Baltimore game. Like, I'll ask you, do you think the opposing teams the first few weeks are going to test out Gardner and pick on him because he's a rookie cornerback? And that's the traditional thing to do in the NFL is you get a rookie cornerback and you pick on him.
I think something we'll see a lot of is teams trying to get him with double moves, seeing if he wants to be over aggressive or get grabby. But look, I think there's a little bit more boom or bust when you're throwing Sauce's way, because I think with DJ Reed, it's the most likely scenario is a completion and he's tackled right away, or an incompletion. Those are usually the two things that happen when you throw it towards DJ Reed. But with Sauce, he could bite on that double move and you could beat him deep, but you make a mistake or you're late and Sauce is going the other way for 6. Once he gets the ball in his hand, he's like a kick returner. So he's like Cromartie in that way, where he's electric with the ball in his hand. So I think Sauce will probably give up more yards and probably more touchdowns than DJ, but I think he'll have more big plays on the ball as well.
Yeah, I think that I actually welcome it. I'm like, please pick on him.
Yeah.
Because I want, first of all, I want to learn about our player, but also I have this feeling that if they pick on him, they're going to pay because this kid is just a freakish athlete.
Yeah, him and Breece, I think, are the two guys are going to come out the box and you're going to be like, first month of the season, that's why we picked them. Like Garrett and JJ might take a while to develop. Jeremy's buried on the depth chart. But those two guys, I think by, Columbus Day, we're going to be like, damn, we got 2 good football players.
Yeah. To me, the biggest question mark, actually, to be honest with you, is, and I'm not that I doubt his talent, don't love him, just it's the position that's the hardest to predict, in my opinion, is Jermaine Johnson. That's the one I'm the most concerned about, because it's so hard to know It's so much to me. It's so much harder to know. I know everybody will say, "Well, D. Milner, like what, but usually the top cornerbacks end up being good, in my experience. Like it's not that hard, but with defense, with the edge, man, it's such a hit and miss. It's such a dart game. Even in the first round, it's like throwing darts, So I like him. I like his power. I like his speed. I'm just nervous. I'm nervous about, like we've seen with like Vernon Gholston. We know from experience, you can be all excited about a guy thinking he's going to get you a bunch of sacks and create a lot of pressure, and then nothing happens. And, he ends up being pedestrian. So I don't know. That's out of those top 3 or the top 4 picks, top 5 picks. I'm probably the most concerned about JJ.
Yeah, I think that is the position. If you look at like the metrics on it of like how high somebody's picked and then how likely they are to make an all-pro team, quarterback is number 1 in terms of the bust rate, and then edge rusher is number 2. So you're right on the money with that. It's not just the Jets thing with Golston. That's a league-wide trend.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the thing I like about Jermaine Johnson is even if he never develops into a double-digit sack kind of guy, I think he's still going to be a valuable football player in this league because he can play the run, because he's a guy who's always going to be well-conditioned. He's long, he's instinctive, he's fast. So he's going to be disruptive in the run game and the screen game. And then even if he's a guy who does that and throws in, 6 or 7 sacks, and that's what he does, are we disappointed? Sure. But is that a bust? No, that's a starting caliber defensive end in the NFL. And I think he has like a high floor. Maybe not as high of a ceiling as like a Kayvon Thibodeau, because Kayvon Thibodeau could be like a 15 sack player. I don't see that kind of pass rush ceiling with JJ, honestly, but I think his floor is much higher, and he's a more complete football player than some of the other edge rushers.
And it's funny because I agree. And and we got to remember that, like, people, it's not just the stat about sacks. It's about setting the edge, and it's about how you play the run. There's other elements, there's other components that other than just the sack statistic. So, and sometimes it's fine just to pressure a quarterback and they throw an interception, and that's better than a sack.
That's what Carl Lawson does. Carl Lawson's not going to get a ton of sacks. He makes quarterbacks uncomfortable. He collapses the pocket, which, if they kept a stat for, like, how they have like a hockey assist, the guy who passes it to the guy, if they had like a hockey assist sack, Carl Lawson would have a ton of those, because he, with power, like with a bull rush, just moves people backwards, and sets up a lot of his teammates for sacks. So there's something to be said for that, for pressures and hitting the quarterback and make sure they don't have a clean jersey or a clean pocket. That's a big part of the game too. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. And I again, I really like him. I'm just saying, because like we were saying, as the position, it's not like I'm sitting here regretting that we took JJ. It's probably the happiest pick we made. I was probably the most excited when all that went down. That was the highlight of the draft for me, because all of a sudden it just made everything else make sense. It's like, oh, we got the edge, one of the 3 guys that I was perfectly happy getting. We got the wide receiver, one of the top 3 that I was perfectly happy getting. And then we got this bonus that we never dreamed or imagined would happen. We got those 2 positions and Sauce Gardner on top of it. And then to throw in Breece Hall and Jeremy Ruckert, I mean, it's just insanity. The amount of talent we just brought onto this team is just ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Congress. Excited.
Yep. And then the proven talent that we did in free agency is also really, really fantastic and awesome. Like, just great proven talent. 2 tight ends that we are proven that can play, a safety that can play, a cornerback that can play, an edge that can play, and Jacob Martin. Everybody forgets about him, right?
Well, you really saw the when they were in the war room or even before that, when they were doing the free agency talk with the personnel executives in Flight 22, and they gave you their formula for the kind of football player they want to bring in. and they're talking about a guy who loves ball, a guy who's durable, and a guy who's an upgrade. And it's like, yeah, that sounds obvious, but then you got to actually stick to your plan. And if you look at every free agent they signed, who they gave decent money to, every free agent they signed was a durable player who started at least 14 games last year. Everyone
Mhm.
was and as a player who has been to multiple playoff games. So every one of them, playoff experience, durable. Check, check. Then complete football player. Give me tight ends who can block, corner who can tackle, safety who can cover the slot, defensive end who sets the edge. So we've like no signing or no draft pick is bulletproof, but man, that you go by that, you're going to have a really high success rate. And I think they said they did some self scouting with the injury stuff. You know, if Carl Lawson, the player, and I'm super excited to have him on this team, but if Carl Lawson, the player, was a free agent this year with his injury history, now 3 seasons being ended with a lower body soft tissue injury, I don't think he's a Jet. I think we're like, you know what? Your availability is your best ability. And
Yeah.
I think Joe Douglas seeing our guys get carted off and go down like that, you have to set that as a priority. That's part of the Quan Alexander thing. Why do I want Quan Alexander when the last 3 years tell me I'm going to get 9 games out of him? You know, if part of your assessment of a player is when he's healthy, I'm out. I'm out.
Yeah.
The guy who
Yeah.
the when he's healthy guy is never healthy, and he's definitely not going to be healthy on the Jets. If he wasn't healthy somewhere else, he's not going to make it through training camp as a
Right.
Jet. So those fundamentals are really important to see from Joe Douglas, but now they're actually sticking to it. Love to see it.
Yeah, it's funny. It's and interesting that everybody's so worried and the concerns of Becton. The concern should be Lawson. You know, he's coming back from the Achilles. We should be concerned about that. And like you said, he's had 3 injuries in 3 seasons that have ended his season. I mean, we got to be like really concerned about that. We don't
It's
know.
not his fault. He's as hardworking a guy as there is. Some but guys, it's just for whatever reason. I think when you add that much muscle, when you force your body to look like the Incredible Hulk, sometimes you just get some injuries. And a torn Achilles, man, besides like a scary head or spine injury, that might be the most devastating kind of injury for a player who plays that position of that style. Because he's in like a sprinter stance and he's exploding his 270 pounds right off those Achilles. I mean, it's a lot worse than an ACL. I mean, it's a completely different sport, but I saw it. It took away 2 years of Kevin Durant playing basketball. A torn Achilles. It's a rough injury, but it looks like they're confident about him. When I got that news last summer, I was like, that's it. He's never going to be the same. But now, the buzz around Jets camp is that he's going to be ready to go, and that's really exciting because I thought it was going to be almost career altering for him.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, we got some like it's very recent because literally in 2010, like I told you about, I have a student whose father played in the NFL, tore his Achilles, and that was the end of his career. I
Yeah.
mean, he played some other professional ball, but not in the NFL. But it ended his career because just that short ago, an Achilles ended your career a lot more often than not. Now we have a guy like what is it, Cam Akers, the running back from the Rams.
Yeah. Akers, same season.
Akers.
He was back.
Yeah, so he comes back, and that gave me more hope than anything. I know everybody's different weight, different position, different injury. Like even though it's the same injury, it's different body, but still, it gives you hope that somebody else was able to come back. And Durant, basketball is hard on the ankles, right?
And
So
Kevin Durant's like 9 feet tall, so that's always that's always going to be different,
right. So, but it's just when you see other people, other human beings are able to come back from this injury in recent years and still be as effective as they were. It's just, even though it's different people and it doesn't guarantee anything, it increases the hope.
Yeah, and even if we're getting 85 to 90% of Carl Lawson, that's still a top 15, 20 defensive end in the league who can create a ton of havoc. And it may even be a lot of times with an Achilles, it's like that second year back. Because the first year you're kind of you're a year behind in like I can only imagine the kind of workouts you can do with a torn Achilles. Like how long is it before you're, squatting or deadlifting or doing leg press with a torn Achilles? It's got to be a couple months probably. So
Yeah.
to put you a couple months behind the best athletes in the world, it may take a full year to where then in 2023 he's back to the full Carl Lawson. So I know he's got that 2 year out at the end of his contract, but even if he doesn't look great, if he doesn't have a setback with the injury, I wouldn't be so quick to cut bait with him, just like Davis, and keep him for that final year because he could come back even stronger in 2023 because he's still only 27 years old.
Yeah. Oh no, I agree. I agree. There's some of these guys. It takes an extra year. Like we might even see Mosley be better this year.
Yes, that's a great example because here's a guy who didn't play football for 2 years, had to transform his body, lose 20 pounds. We talked about it before how he had to do everybody's job, and the CJ of Baltimore may never be back, and I know he's getting towards 30, but I think it's definitely reasonable that CJ is better this year than he was last year. I absolutely agree.
Yeah. So yeah, and again, I mean, I believe that Lawson. The scary part is the health. If he's on that field, he's going to be worth the $12.5 million or whatever it is that we pay him. So
no question about it. And
it'll
that
be worth
the two big signings from Joe Douglas last year, I mean, it was just kind of crappy luck that like the two guys he gave big money. Like I think it was 3 of our top 5 cap hits went down right away with Lawson, Davis, and May.
Right.
So I mean, what even good teams, deep teams would struggle to overcome that. But now we're deep at edge. Like Jacob Martin is a starting quality edge, so he's going to see the field a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if Carl Lawson in September is on a little bit of a pitch count. We're not going to see Carl Lawson for 65, 70% of the snaps against Baltimore. He's probably going to play half the game, the first few games, and that's fine because we got the depth to bring him along slowly.
Especially if we're effective.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's say we go into one of these games. I know they're tough games, but you never know what could happen in football. But like as an example, let's say we go into a game and we get a nice big lead and our defense is playing awesome even when he's not in the rotation. Like he's out, but JJ's doing great and Martin's doing great with JFM in the middle or Williams in the middle and everything is clicking and we're raising havoc without him. Then, yeah, I believe they'll be on a pitch count, and I believe we'll take advantage of that. Hey, we got a lead. Let's rest this guy. Maybe we can get away with not playing him for the rest of the game. If we're losing a game by 21, 24 points, I don't want that to be the case, but let's say it is, and they're just running the ball now every play. Let's take him out. Let's just rest him. So not only a pitch count on just the competitive games where we're in the game and we try to balance it, but also taking advantage or making the best out of a bad or a great situation, either one, each extreme, and not wasting him, and keeping him safe and sound on the sidelines when there's no point or benefit to having him in the game.
That's a really good point. That's something that I would like to see improve from last year because I know there was the whole thing with like the 35 snaps, which ended up not even being a thing. Coach Sala clarified it, so we were all panicking for like a week for no reason. But what we all saw last year was kind of just random substitutions. Like the score and the down and the distance didn't seem to reflect who was on the field. And maybe it was just because they knew it was a rebuilding year and they just kind of were implementing their system and seeing what they had. But I don't want to see, last year it was like Tim Ward and Nathan Shepard on a key third down and Quinn Williams and JFM are on the sideline. Like that can't happen again. So, And on the flip side, Quinnen and JFM playing in the fourth quarter of a Colts game when we're down like 4 scores. Why? Yeah. Get them off it's not so much like how many snaps, but it's when are you playing those snaps? If it's 3rd and 8, I want Carl Lawson, Quinnen Williams, and John Franklin Myers, Jermaine Johnson on the field. And if it's a blowout, hopefully we're on the other end of some of those. Hopefully we're up big, and we can rest them. So did you know? Was that just me, or did you notice it's like, wait, this is a gotta have it stop, and we're rolling out the B team?
I was very frustrated because I thought there were a lot of times where we should have brought in younger players to see what they had and to test them out and to get guys off the field because it didn't make sense to have them on the field. Like, like certain games where it was like, what are we doing? Why are these guys on the field? Like, at Denver at a certain point of that game, the New England game. I mean, there were games we were so out of it, and I didn't understand why don't we just bring in some of these other guys? Kenny Yeboah, let's see what he can do. Like, I didn't know. That's what I didn't get. I didn't get the point of keeping those guys on the field and not seeing what we had in the younger guys. They started to bring Marshall a little, on defensive tackle. I wanted to see more of that with some of the other guys. I just wanted to see, like, why isn't Nasaldine on the field? Like, let's see what these guys got. I mean, they can't do any worse than what the starting team was doing. You talk about the Indianapolis game. Could they have done any worse?
Good point. I mean, it can't get much worse than this, right?
Yeah. So why don't we get to see what they, what they're like and what they look like on the field? So, I had moments like that I was annoyed. Like, just like, give us something to watch and be interested in.
That's true. Like something to, at least look forward to or see what we have in some other guys. Yeah. Jonathan Marshall not getting reps over Nathan Shepard. I don't get, when a veteran is like just barely rosterable, just play the young guy.
Yeah.
How much worse can you be than Nathan Shepard? So I definitely agree there.
Why do they love Shepard so much?
I don't know what it is. He's played over 30% of it's not just this administration, because last 2 years he's played over 30% of the snaps on this defensive line, and I think he's going to make the team again. I don't get it. To me, I would cut him. I'd rather have, we got Quinnen, JFM, Solly Thomas, Rankins, Jonathan Marshall on the inside. I'd rather have all 5 of those guys over Shepard. And you're not going to keep 6 defensive tackles. So I don't see how he can make the team.
Yet he will.
He will. He will. Of course he will.
They talk about him like he's one of our stars. Like,
Rankins sucks also. Yeah, but Rankins was disappointing. But, I mean, Rankins has at least accomplished things in this league to where you're like, maybe we can still harness that out of a guy who's still under 30. Like Sheldon Rankins has had an 8-sack season. He was a top 15 pick. Like, there's things you can cling to with Rankins. Shepard, I got nothing.
Right. And Rankins had moments. People forget. Look, overall it was disappointing, but there were moments. And I don't know if it was the system, and he's got to learn the system, there's potential there. What's going to be nice is maybe we find out, but without relying on them as much. Like, we have our trusted guys. Like, we got, like, with JFM, being able to move him to the middle, and having Q Williams and maybe Solomon, like maybe we have guys we could trust a little bit more. And then these guys get some snaps in the rotation and we see what they do. And if Rankins improves and he's like playing a lot better, then maybe that's great. And if it's not, then we know we move on next year. But at least if we stay healthy, he's not in a position where we're counting on him, where it's critical to the success of the team.
What's interesting? When I was talking to DJ Bieniemy, the only thing he said that like kind of shocked me, I guess, like you just said, I've assumed just by the way the roster's been built that JFM is kicking back inside the defensive tackle. I had that in ink.
Yeah.
And DJ was like, no, he's taking all of his almost all of his reps at edge still. He's going to be an edge. And he told me that that's why they were interested in Larry Ogunjobi, because they thought their defensive front could be Quinnen and Ogunjobi in the inside, JFM as one of your edges, and then like Lawson as an edge, and then JJ, I guess, is like a rotational edge as a rookie. I like JFM. I'm not trying to, obviously DJ would know he's at practice, but I think he kicks inside. I just do.
Me too. I think he's a much better player inside.
Yeah. and then it allows you to get like, then I can't complain about being deep at edge, but Jermaine Johnson, I want to see him starting. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'd like to see him or Jacob Martin starting opposite of Lawson, and um, I it's a little. I mean, look, Lawson, JFM, bring in JJ, rotate in Martin. I mean, it makes the edge story even stronger. I mean, I wonder if Clemens is even going to be in the rotation. Will he make the squad but not be activated? Will
I think
for
so.
year one? Huh?
I think him and Max Mitchell are probably going to be like redshirted, and I think that's great. That when you don't have to plug in, because you know what, in under a John Idzik or Mike McCagnon team, when we were doing our stat predictions, we'd be like, who's going to lead us in sacks? Probably Michael Clemens and his 4 sacks from his rookie year, because we don't have anybody else, right? And Max Mitchell, I think if we do end up signing another swing tackle, I think obviously they both make the 53, and you can't put him on the practice squad because he'll get snatched up. But I think they end up being inactive. And why the heck you have to have 5 inactive players for every game, I have no idea. Like, you have 53 guys.
I hate
Why
it.
can't they all play? It's never made any sense to me.
It's so annoying. It's really annoying.
Just like make the roster what it is.
It's just unbelievable to me that happens. But yeah, look, I mean, they're seeing what Clemens can do in practice. So if he's not activated most weeks, it means that he's still developing. And don't worry, we're not missing out on much. If you see him activated, it means he's just playing too good to redshirt.
Yeah, which it's fine either way, because if I look at I mean, stop me when I name somebody that Michael Clemens is going to be better than right away. Jermaine Johnson, no. Carl Lawson, no. Jacob Martin, no. Vinny Curry, probably not. Bryce Huff, if Bryce Huff is healthy and is that speed demon off the edge. Like, I mean, Michael Clemens, I know it's like the legend is bigger than the player at this point, but if you can develop into a rotational edge and then maybe take Jacob Martin's role in a year or two, and then he's the primary rotational edge, that's a home run pick in the 4th round. I mean, if Vinny Curry still got some juice left in the tank, Vinny Curry's been a good ball player in this league. He's a guy who's got like close to 50 career sacks. And Bryce Huff, you show me a little bit of that speed off the edge, it's like a baseball player who throws a 100-mile-an-hour pitch. Yeah, you show me a little bit of that, I'm keeping you around.
Yeah. No, I agree. And a lot of people don't realize that. Like, Clemens doesn't have to be a 10 sack, double-digit sack, or even 8-9 sack guy to be a home run in the 4th round. If he's a rotational guy that's solid, stops the run, gets some pass pressure, does his job for the plays he's in, and he's good enough to be in that rotation, 4th round defensive edge, that's a home run. Especially when you're the second guy picked in the draft on the same team.
That's a great point. I mean, and I think if we look at Jacob Martin, who is just that kind of player, a really high quality backup rotational edge, if Michael Clemens can do that, Jacob Martin got $5 million a year. So if Michael Clemens, whose 4th round salary is like less than $1 million a year, if he can parlay his play into 5 times his net worth, he's done something right. We can't argue with that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's so, and we'll see. I don't know what his ceiling is. I don't know him well enough. You watch the tape, it's hard because of the competition. I don't know. I know that he looks like someone you can't imagine being a failure. Like, he's just looks like a monster. Like, this guy obviously has put so much work and commitment into his body and being in top physical condition. He just looks like a total monster. And like, it's just hard to imagine him getting pushed around by offensive linemen, like that he's going to get pushed around. Like, it's hard to see that because he's such a big, strong guy.
I think it's worth mentioning too that there was a lot of personnel people that had him as a 2nd round grade, but due to age or due to a couple, maybe bonehead decisions, he
Yeah.
didn't he didn't hit a woman or do anything crazy. He
Right.
didn't do anything that probably some of us did in our early 20s. Okay, he just, whatever, it is what it is. But it's arguably a second round talent. So if we look at it, that's the same thing with Jermaine Johnson. Like, it's hard not to let where a player is drafted impact your perception of them. It's weird, right? Because Jermaine Johnson, we're watching him at Florida State, we're looking at the stats, we know who he is, we have our opinion. But if he goes at 10 to the Jets, we're like thinking he's a better player than if he goes 26. But it's the same guy. It's a weird phenomenon, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's absolutely the same guy. All that it means is for some other reason, maybe other needs, maybe they read him differently. For some other reason, these other GMs didn't have him as high on their board as JD had him. JD had him top 8. We know that.
It's crazy. And they had Garrett. They got 3 of their top 8 players on their board, and then Brees Hall was their 18th player. They got in the second round.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I thought even Ruckert was a great deal at 101.
Yeah, well, they said that they would have. They didn't give a board number for him, but they said that he would have been the guy they would have taken at 69. So he was top 70, and they got him at 101.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Well, look, I mean, he's arguably the best tight end coming out. I mean, Trey McBride is a receiver, but if you want to go all around, depending on what you're looking for, if you're looking for the most balanced tight ends, I mean, I'm a big fan. Not a lot of people are. I'm a fan of Chris Sims because Chris Sims explains his takes. He watches hours and hours of footage. He has a track record of knowing what he's talking about. He's not 100%. He's like everybody else. He's human, but he's a lot of what he says makes sense, and he's called a lot of things well. And he has him as the number 1 tight end. He said he's the only tight. He goes, there's only 2 tight ends I saw it like that even come close to being able to do both that are mentionable. He goes, like, most of these guys are just great receiving tight ends. He named some guy I never heard of as a good all around, and he said Ruckard's the best tight end if you want a guy who can block and go, be a receiver.
And I like Chris. To me, as long as you do 2 things, as long as you're honest and you do your homework. If you do those 2 things, I'll listen to your takes. And he obviously does that. When he talks about Zach Wilson, he's referencing specific games. He plugs in the tape. So, and you compare that to a guy like Stephen A. Smith or Brady Quinn, who's just reading cue cards from an intern to give their takes. Like, yeah, I'm gonna respect, because you and I have to do that. And then I mean, I've let a video ride where I didn't do my homework, and then I'm getting called out in the comments, and I'm embarrassed, right? So, we know what it's like to do your homework and what it's like to not do your homework. So
Yeah,
that's really important. I'm gonna duck out though, Jeremy. I appreciate you having me on. I'll hang out in the chat for a little while if you keep it going. But yeah, if there's gonna be a lull in the dead season and there's no streams, I don't mind keeping the boat afloat with the replacement team here. So yeah, we'll keep in touch.
Yeah. We just gotta stay connected and everything. So next time we'll meet in your place.
All right, sounds good, dude. Talk soon.
All right, ciao. So that was Buffalo Jets fan. You all know him. You all love him with his awesomeness. And Sluggo, in the meantime, has joined. A lot of people had joined on. Braden from New Zealand is here. He's a good friend of mine. I'm excited to see him. Must be 1 PM on Wednesday for him, something like that, which is kind of go. Sluggo. It's not Slugo. It's Sluggo. And you guys, Anthony G, did I say hello to you yet? You guys have been having fun in the chat. So you hear what I'm saying. We're trying to be very realistic. I'm trying to be really sensible and realistic, because it's kind of hard. Like, I realize if you take it from the perspective of watching somebody, talk and give takes where everything is either too positive or too negative, it becomes hard to watch, because I've sat there like yelling and screaming saying, come on. everything can't be perfect. Everyone's not going to be great. Everyone's not going to be great. It can't be. It may be if it was a miracle, but we can't pretend that it's definitely going to be that way. And also vice versa. When someone's, like this one's not proven, this one's not proven, this, like the reality in life is that you have some surprises, you have some disappointments, and then you have things that go as expected. What I like is we have a lot of possibilities of things that could go really well or as we expect compared to other years. Like, so rather it being one player or two players that we're putting all of our eggs in, those two baskets, to be a better team. Instead of that, now we have Whitehead, Reed, Jacob Martin, Conklin, CJ, right? And those are just the free agents. Tomlinson. Those are all just free agents. A lot of them are proven, so you can feel a little safer knowing what you're getting with a lot of those guys. And then you start talking about Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, and JJ, and Ruckert, and Breece Hall. And a lot of these guys were very highly regarded. But to have so many chances, it's not about, they're all going to hit, they're all going to be stars. It's just about we're just getting more spins, more reps, more throw of the dice, right? So the more throws you get, the more at-bats you get, the more home runs or hits that you get. So that's what we really should be excited about. And it seems that we've taken really, really smart, well-thought-out picks and selections. Like the selections seem safe. It seems like we didn't just say, well, this is the best guy for the position we need, or this is the best position, or, like what we did was we actually just went out there and we said, balancing with positional need, we said, if we have an elite player, let's not reach for a guy at the number 4 pick when there's a guy we believe is an elite player. So maybe people didn't think cornerback was the biggest need. But they believed, whether they're wrong or right is a separate thing. But they believed that Sauce Gardner is an elite player. They believed that. And I like the idea that if they believe that's the case, that they went ahead and took a shot at getting us an elite player. So that's the kind of change I like to see in a general manager. We have an opportunity for an elite player. We take that opportunity. We go for it. We don't sit there and say, we need an edge, be impatient, panic, take JJ with the 4th pick. We don't, right? We take the guy that we believe has the biggest chance to be an elite player, and we grab him and we lock him up. Then we get to 10. The guy on the board that was the highest, Garrett Wilson, we grab him. Not because we know. We don't know. But our scouts, our organization, Joe Douglas and his team believe that Garrett Wilson, out of all the players that were left on the board, has the biggest opportunity to be an impact elite player. We don't have to argue about position. That worked out nice because you saw what the other teams did, the panic on wide receivers because of the market of wide receiver. So we did good by grabbing our guy then and not waiting for the second round because everybody ended up going because the market on wide receivers got so high. So that made it a sensible, smart pick. When you look at the attributes of Garrett Wilson, it's really hard. Anybody can be a disappointment or a bust, but you really got to think of how it could be. When you watch a receiver with that kind of speed, those kind of hands, and, and just the athletic ability, it's really hard to see him being a miss. But again, not everything's going to go right. But then showing all of that patience, again, not panicking with our trade up for JJ by offering the right value. It was actually good that we kept getting pushed back and being rejected because then getting him at 26 cost us a lot less than getting him at 16. And they were trying to get him at 16. Can you imagine what picks and what we were offering at 16? I guarantee you, if we ended up moving up to 16, we wouldn't have Breece Hall. or Jeremy Rucker. Like, which of the guys? There were a lot of these guys we would not have ended up getting or grabbing. So getting JJ at 26 for that price, still allowing us to get a Brees Hall, even trading up to get him a couple of spots, and then allowing us to get Jeremy Ruckert at 101, just beautiful draft. Beautiful draft. Gives us a lot of chances to see a lot of improvement in our squad. The question marks are there. Okay. Health, mark. Zach taking a big step, question mark. Even CJ Azuma, the tight end, he gets banged up a lot. He's been injury prone. So there's a little bit of a question there. Carl Lawson on the defense, question. We got questions too. We got things that can go wrong too. That's why it's so hard to predict. That's why, like, I have to preface, I have to say before I make a prediction, if things go well, if we remain injury free, if things fall our way, these are the kind of things that you have to say before you can make a prediction, because we know that that's a very good chance that a lot of these things will not go well, because they don't for any NFL team. Jump ahead. All guess no break. Conservative play calling was too many games. Yeah, look, that's my whole life on football teams. I never understood is why every NFL team, it feels, except for the greats, sit on leads. And when you think about the teams that didn't sit on leads, New England, San Francisco in their heyday, Dallas Cowboys in their heyday, Super Bowl teams. That's who doesn't sit on leads. Super Bowl teams. Super Bowl teams keep playing. They play like the game is on the line for 60 minutes. And we got to hope that we do that. We don't know, because there weren't a lot of games that we were in the lead. So we don't know who we are yet in that sense, because we didn't have games where we were in the lead. So we have to see, are we going to be a team that when we get a lead, are we going to keep playing, or are we going to let that lead evaporate and go away? Yep. Now it's time for the results. I agree. That's what this year is. Now, it's not win the Super Bowl results. It's take a big step results. Anything 8 wins or more is a big step. It is. And like, I know people go, oh, no, that's not enough. Well, it is. When you're 4-13, if you can go 8 and 9 the next year, that's a step. Now, if we're healthy, do I think we have the talent and the ability to be better than that? Yes. I think we could do even better than that. But nothing could take away from the fact that it's a step, especially if in the 9 games we lose, we're very, very competitive. Then it's even a bigger step, because last year there were so many games we weren't even competitive. So it's not just about wins. It's about, can we consistently be competitive and not embarrass ourselves in games? There's so much to be excited about. I agree. Yeah. It's on the coaching staff, but it's also about injuries. We could definitely be very, 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 very special. And I agree with Garrett Ham. I can't wait to the opener. I just want to make it to the opener healthy. You know what I mean? We got a big first game against a tough team that's always great, one of the top elite organizations. They may not have been the Buffalo last year, or the Cincinnati last year team, but we watch it time and time again, like Baltimore and Steelers, like in those kind of teams. They're just like, they'll have some seasons where they only win 9-10 games or whatever, and they struggle to make the playoffs. And then they go right back to winning 12 games for a couple of years, and they go back to 9 or 8 games. But they're never bad. They're always tough. Like, we're always, and that's the thing. That's the price. I mean, at least we got them at home. That gives us somewhat of a chance to, be respectable. But look, I mean, honestly, me and Garrett, we're going to be at the game. A lot of us are going to be at the game. We really want to win, obviously, right? I mean, we're going to be bummed if we don't. There's no way to say, oh, I just want to compete and I'll be happy. That's a lie. We want to win. But the reality will be, whether we feel it emotionally or not, if the Jets give Baltimore a run for their money, like if it's a battle, and we did against Tampa, right? If it's a battle and we fight them till the end and they escape with a victory, We have, as brokenhearted as we'll be walking out of that stadium, overall, we have to appreciate that it could be a lot worse. Because then at least it's not Carolina we're losing to. We get to say, yeah, we lost, but we played toe-to-toe with the Ravens. We played toe-to-toe with a possible Super Bowl contender. Some people are predicting them to be a Super Bowl contender. There's a lot of great teams in the AFC, so we can argue for hours, right? People can argue for hours and hours who the elite teams in the AFC are. There's a lot of great teams in the AFC, and every year it's different, and people step up and teams step up. But the bottom line is who's more consistently in the last 15 years. The Ravens are a top 4 NFL team in consistently being a competitor, in being a team that can get to the Super Bowl or go deep into the playoffs. Even before they got Lamar Jackson. So if we go toe-to-toe with them, if we give them if we could play them for real and stand up to them and not get run over, we're going to feel really good. If we get run over, we shouldn't, don't bail. If we get blown out, don't bail on this team. We're young. We're much younger and less experienced. They got a more experienced coach, a more experienced system, a system that's in place for a long time. A veteran quarterback who's already found his prime, who's already capable of killing teams. They have all that. So even that, we have to give them time. I would love to come in and be competitive right away for game 1 and play toe-to-toe with these guys. I would love it. It's great. In some ways, it's not as much pressure if you look at it from that perspective, because no one expects us to win. Like, it's not the kind of game where if you lose, you say, oh, the season's crap, we lost. If we started against Detroit and lost, or against Chicago and lost, that would suck. If the opener was Jacksonville and we lost, that would suck. No disrespect to them, but it would suck. You walk out of the Ravens game, blowout, you say, oh, we got to get a lot better, or this, we're nervous. Is this going to happen again? But they're a really good team. Close game, close loss to the Ravens. I'm thinking, okay, we're a real team. You don't accidentally play competitively against the Ravens. If you're competitive against them in game 1, because the season opener, you know that game 1, the Ravens are going to be playing their best. Everybody's pumped up for game 1. It's not like the Ravens are going to come in and say this was a trap game. It's game 1. The Ravens are going to come in fired up to trounce us. And if we stay in the game and push them to the fourth quarter, that very well might be a signal that we're going to have a much better season than we thought, that we're going to have that 8 to 9 game season. We might get it if we're able to compete against the Ravens. Give our guys a lot of confidence. You imagine how much confidence we would have? It's like, I love that locker room. We just stood toe-to-toe with a great team. We'll be able to laugh at this. Yeah, I don't know if we can laugh. It's going to be a while before we can laugh at anybody. We got to win a lot of games before we can laugh at anybody. But, yeah, I don't care about rubbing in other teams' faces. I just want to be good. But, hey, man, I'll take what we can get. I'd love us to bring someone who is falling in another organization and improve our coaching by making him work with us. Anyone seen Boy Green suggesting we trade for Isaiah Simmons? I saw that. I just don't know if we have a partner in that trade. So trades are so unpredictable. I've never seen one predicted right, or like at least for us in a long time. So if it happens, if we make a trade, we make a trade. But I don't like to think about it because it so rarely happens when it's talked about. Like, you know what I mean? Like for someone to like to read an article about a trade we could make and then the trade actually happens is so rare that I don't even think about it. I think Garrett is a good position because he doesn't have to be number 1 this year. I think Garrett is in a good position because he doesn't have to be number 1 this year. Oh, Garrett Wilson. Yeah. Very much so. A lot less pressure than Elijah was under, for sure. I agree, for sure. Who's Spidey? I don't get it. Let's see. Kay Newman Zach takes Jets to the playoffs, has 35 touchdowns and 3,800 yards. Is my Jets MVP top 50? I like that. I wouldn't complain about that. Have a good night. Thank you for joining, my friend. I appreciate you very much. And we'll see you around on Buffalo's channel. We're back here. Take care. Sluggo. I disagree, Jeremy. No solace comes from losing. Obviously, they didn't play hard enough. I can't agree with that. I think you could play very hard and still lose if you're just losing to a better team. Yeah, I don't like when athletes are down in the game and smiling. I don't like when they go happily off the field. I agree with that. And I'm not saying I'd walk out anything but devastated, Sluggo. I'd be devastated if we lost a close game. But by Tuesday, I'd be saying, I mean, it's not like I'm sitting there saying it's okay that we lost and I'm happy we lost or ignoring that we lost. But I could be an optimist and say it's better than if we got blown out. I mean, getting blown out really sucks. Not being competitive. But when you're competitive against a good team, at least you could say we're a real team. Last year, we weren't a real team for half the season, half the games. It was like it was pathetic. So I'm sorry, but like when we play well against a really good team and come close, that's better than getting blown out by a good team. Start being a laughingstock. I know. And we're not going to be a laughingstock. You know, if you lose a very tight game, you're not a laughingstock. It sucks, but you're not a laughingstock. I don't think we'll be picking up players in trades. Most GMs are wary of JD. Yeah, maybe. They might be wary of JD. Hey, look, guys, it's my anniversary with my wife. I got to go. I'm going to order some nice dinner or whatever. And then, you know, our real anniversary celebration will be Friday, but we got to do something nice on our anniversary, even if it's a weekday and I got to get up for work and everything. So before it gets too late, I want to thank everyone for dropping by. Thanks for coming. If you haven't and you enjoyed this, please give it a like on the way out. Also, I would appreciate it, other than a like on the way out, if you happen to be new and you've never subscribed to this channel, give me that sub, please. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. It's our 13th wedding anniversary. I appreciate that, guys. 13th wedding anniversary today. 13 years ago, we got married, me and my wife. Thank you. I appreciate that, brother. We're going to go over and get some. There's a place my wife has wanted to get food from for a long time. So we're going to head over and stuff our faces. So maybe I'll take some pictures and share it later. Yeah, look, I'm not saying the coach shouldn't play like the only thing is winning. I'm not saying that's logo. I'm talking about, and that's why I said it'd be brokenhearted if we lost. I'm going to be screaming my head off for a win. I'm going to be devastated if we come close and don't win. I'll be devastated and pissed at whatever reason we lost. Believe me, I'm a lunatic. If you ever watched me watch a game with Green Bean on Jet Nation, I'm a lunatic when it comes to that. But it will impact my attitude on Tuesday. Losing by 2 points and missed field goal at the end versus losing by 28 points, I'm going to have a different attitude. I just am. You know what I mean? I think you do deep down too, but I understand your philosophy about win, win, win. So thanks again, everybody. I appreciate y'all. And I appreciate you, Harlan. Welcome to the channel. And me and Buffalo plan to work together a long time and give a lot of good content and grow together. So we're really excited about that. Michael, too. Thank you. Welcome. All right, everybody. Take care. And I will leave you with, we talked a lot about the draft, so I'll leave you with this. No? Don't not be Thibodeau. And here it comes. It's about to come in. Oh, my God. They didn't. They took Sauce Gardner. Oh, my God. They don't want an edge. Maybe he likes Jermaine Johnson at 10. Then we're not going to get a wide receiver? Garrett Wilson. Wide receiver. Oh my God, no edge.
Who's sitting there?
The Jets traded up. The Jets traded up. Are we taking JJ? Are we taking JJ? Because I know Braden is in New Zealand saying, we should get Lily, Mike. He's definitely saying that. JJ! We got Johnson! We got Johnson at 26! We got Johnson at 26! This is great!
Yes! They took Roger McCreary. They didn't take Dean. We traded up. We can get the Kobe Dean. We can get the Kobe Dean. It really is. They took Brees Hall. Wow. I mean, look, I love Brees Hall. But there's also Jeremy Ruckert, who I think is the best tight end in the class personally. They took Jeremy Ruckert. Yes! We got a Jeremy. Oh, and the Jets pick, and it's Max Mitchell, offensive tackle. We needed that. Wow. We took Michael Clemens. I never heard of him. A defensive edge